Chapter 1. Letters from her. Every letter from her saved me from loneliness. I lived in a rented room above a noisy street in a city where I barely understood the language. Every morning I woke up to the smell of fried dough and strong coffee drifting in from the bakery below, and every evening I returned to silence, where the hum of the refrigerator became my only company. Work consumed most of my days, 10, sometimes 12 hours at the factory. The machines didn't care about my aching back or the calluses on my hands. And yet, it wasn't the work that broke me, it was the nights. The long, empty nights when I reached for her and found nothing but a cold pillow. That was when her letters became my lifeline. They didn't come often, sometimes once a week, sometimes less, but when they arrived, folded neatly in thin envelopes with her delicate handwriting, it was as though the distance shrank. She wrote about everything: the neighbor's cat that had kittens, her struggles with university exams, the smell of rain on the street where we once walked hand in hand. She always included little details, as if she wanted me to feel that I was still there, still part of her world. I read those letters slowly, savoring each word, sometimes aloud in my small room, and afterward I would press the paper to my chest, pretending it carried her warmth across the miles. But love on paper has its limits. Every time I folded her letters back into their envelopes, the silence of the room returned, heavier than before. Chapter 2. The distance between us. The hardest part wasn't the work, or even the loneliness. It was the distance between us that stretched wider than the map could ever show. Time zones betrayed us. When I woke up for work, she was going to bed. When I came home exhausted, she was already busy with her day. Calls became a battlefield of missed connections. I'm sorry, I fell asleep. I had to leave early. The signal was bad. Excuses, real and imagined, piled up like bricks between us. Then came jealousy. She mentioned a new friend at her university, just a classmate, she insisted. But my tired, insecure mind twisted her words until every man's name became a threat. I hated that side of me. The suspicious voice whispering that perhaps she was tired of waiting, tired of being with the ghost who lived in another country. She too had her doubts. Once, during a rare late-night call, she whispered, "Sometimes I wonder if this is really love, or if we're just clinging to a memory." Her words struck harder than any hammer at the factory. I didn't know how to answer. Silence pressed against me like a weight. Finally, I managed to say, "If it wasn't love, would we be suffering like this?" She cried softly, and I wanted nothing more than to hold her, to brush away her tears. Instead, I sat miles away, clutching the phone until my knuckles turned white, listening to the sound of her broken breathing through static. But we kept writing. We kept calling, because as painful as the distance was, the thought of giving up hurt more. Chapter 3. The cracks in our hearts. The breaking point came quietly, not with a storm, but with silence. For weeks her letters grew shorter. The bright details faded. Instead of pages filled with laughter, I received brief updates, written in rushed handwriting. Busy with exams. I'm tired. Maybe we'll talk this weekend. I told myself she was just overwhelmed. But deep inside, fear clawed at me. Fear that the bond we had fought so hard to protect was slipping away. One night, after another 12-hour shift, I came home to find no letter, no message, no call. Just silence. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at my phone, willing it to light up. It never did. The next morning, I couldn't focus at work. Every clang of metal echoed like a reminder. She's gone. When the shift ended, I rushed back to my room and dialed her number once, twice, 3 times. Finally, she answered, her voice flat, tired. "We can't keep doing this," she said. The world stopped. My chest burned, as if all the air had been sucked out. "What do you mean? This distance, it's too much. We barely talk. We argue when we do. I feel like I'm losing myself, waiting for you." Her voice cracked, and I knew she was crying, but there was a finality in her tone that froze me. I wanted to shout, to beg, to promise I would come back tomorrow. But the truth was cruel. I needed this job. Without it, I couldn't support my family or save enough to build a future with her. So instead, I whispered, please, don't give up on us. Not yet. There was a long pause, then a sigh. I don't know how much longer I can hold on. When the call ended, I sat in the dark, staring at the blank wall, feeling the cracks in my heart spread wider. I thought of all the couples who didn't make it, who let distance bury their love. Was that to be our fate as well? Yet even in despair, I couldn't let go. That night, I wrote her the longest letter of my life. I poured out every fear, every dream, every ounce of love I had left. I told her that even if the distance broke me, I would still choose her. And then, I waited uncertain if I would ever hear from her again. Chapter 4. Whispers of Hope. I expected silence. Days stretched into a week, then 2. Each evening I returned to my room with the same ritual: check the mailbox, glance at my phone, sit by the window with my hands idle and heavy. Nothing. Then, one rainy afternoon, an envelope appeared in the slot. My heart stopped when I saw her handwriting. I tore it open with trembling fingers. Inside was not just a letter, it was a confession. She wrote that she had been scared of losing me, but also scared of holding on to a dream that might never come true. She admitted that she had considered ending things. But when she read my last letter, those words I had poured out in desperation, something inside her shifted. I realized, she wrote, that I'd rather suffer with you than live comfortably without you. Even if the nights are lonely, even if the days feel endless, I don't want to give up. Because when I picture my future, you're still in it. I read her words again and again, until the ink blurred with tears in my eyes. For the first time in months, I felt hope breathe life into me. That night, I called her. When she answered, I didn't let her speak right away. Thank you, I whispered, for not letting go. She laughed softly through her tears. You're stubborn, you know that. So are you, I said, and for the first time in what felt like forever, we both laughed together. After that, we tried something new. Instead of focusing on what we were missing, we created small rituals to bridge the gap. We watched the same movie on weekends and messaged each other during it. We kept photo diaries, little snapshots of our days that we shared at the end of each week. Sometimes they were silly, a picture of my greasy work boots or her cup of tea, but those little pieces stitched our worlds together. The distance didn't vanish, but it became less of a wall and more of a challenge. And deep in my heart, I began to believe again that one day, all this waiting, all this longing, would be worth it. Chapter 5. The Unexpected Ending. Months passed. The factory days blurred into one another, but now they didn't feel so unbearable. I carried her words like armor. Whenever the machines roared too loudly, whenever the loneliness tried to seep back in, I remembered her promise. I'd rather suffer with you than live comfortably without you. Still, the dream of seeing her again haunted me. We counted down the days until my contract ended, but the savings grew slower than I hoped. Each time I calculated, reality whispered the same cruel answer, not yet. Then, one morning, everything changed. I woke to the sound of a knock on my door. It was unusual, no one ever visited me. I opened it, half expecting the landlord. Instead, I froze. There she was, standing in the dim hallway, with the suitcase at her side and a nervous smile on her face. For a moment, I thought I was dreaming. My breath caught, my hands shook. How are you here? She laughed softly, brushing away a tear. You didn't think you were the only stubborn one, did you? I saved up. I finished my exams early, and I bought a ticket. I couldn't wait any longer. I pulled her into my arms, and for the first time in endless months, I felt whole. Her hair smelled like home, Her heartbeat matched mine, and every lonely night melted away in that single embrace. "I wanted to surprise you," she whispered against my shoulder. "I wanted our story to be about more than waiting." And it was. The distance that once felt like a wall crumbled the moment she stepped into my life again. We spent the next days walking the streets of that foreign city, hand in hand, turning every corner into a memory. Even my tiny rented room became sacred because she was in it. One evening, as we sat by the window watching the sunset, she took my hand and said, "You know, the happiest endings are the ones we don't expect." I smiled, pulling her closer. "Then this must be the happiest ending of all." And in that moment, I knew it was true.